So you might have heard that the UAE's president, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, was recently in New Delhi meeting with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, it was a quick trip, but wow, was it a big one. They signed a whole bunch of multi-billion-dollar deals, but one announcement really stood out: a brand new, landmark strategic defense partnership. And believe me, this isn't just another trade deal. This is a huge shift in the geopolitics of West Asia.
And that gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. Is this just a simple defense deal between two countries that are already good friends? Or is this something more? Could this be the first move on a brand new geopolitical chessboard, maybe a sign of a new kind of Cold War that's brewing in the Gulf?
Okay, let's really dig into this. What is it about this particular defense pact that makes it so groundbreaking?
So, what even is a strategic defense partnership? Well, think of it this way. It's a security deal that goes way, way beyond just buying and selling stuff. We are talking about deep cooperation in really sensitive areas, like the military and defense. That could mean anything from joint training exercises to sharing intelligence. And for India, a deal like this with a Gulf nation, well, it's never happened before. It's totally unprecedented, and it signals a massive strategic shift.
But to really get why this new military angle is so huge, you first have to understand the incredible economic foundation this whole thing is built on. This relationship is already about so much more than just business.
And this chart really just puts the numbers into perspective, doesn't it? The UAE isn't just some partner for India, it's its third largest trading partner in the entire world, and it's the second biggest place India sends its exports. I mean, this is a deeply, deeply integrated economic relationship.
And get this, they're not even close to being done. The two countries are now aiming to double their trade to an absolutely astonishing $200 billion. That's on top of all the huge energy deals and new investments already in the works. The economic ties are just getting stronger and stronger.
But, as we're starting to see, this incredibly powerful partnership, it's just not about business anymore. This new defense agreement is pushing the relationship into a totally new strategic world, and the timing of it all is absolutely critical.
All right, so let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture here, because this deal is not happening in a vacuum. It's happening while West Asia is becoming more and more unstable, more fractured. There's a serious rift opening up in the Gulf.
In fact, a lot of analysts are starting to use a pretty specific phrase to describe what's going on: a Gulf Cold War. What we're seeing is this growing rivalry between two countries that used to be really close allies, the UAE and Saudi Arabia. And this isn't just some small disagreement, it's a fundamental split over who's going to dominate economically and who gets to shape the future of the entire region.
And this timeline shows you just how quickly things are heating up. These two powers were once on the same page in places like Yemen. Now they're heading in opposite directions. They're basically locked in a power struggle in Sudan, and all of this is happening in a region that's already on edge. Some are even looking ahead, projecting future flashpoints, like a potential Israeli bombing of Qatar in 2025, which would just pour more fuel on this fire.
So what happens with a division like this? It forces other countries to start picking sides, creating these new competing teams. On one side, you have the UAE getting closer with partners like India, and on the other, you've got Saudi Arabia trying to build its own defense pact, maybe with countries like Pakistan and Turkey. The entire region is literally realigning right before our eyes.
So this brings us to the million-dollar question, right? How on earth does India navigate this? I mean, how do you strengthen a partnership with the UAE without getting sucked into this massive, escalating regional rivalry? It's a real diplomatic tightrope.
India is obviously very aware of this risk. You've got officials coming out and offering reassurance, like this quote here from India's Foreign Secretary, Vikram Misri. He's making it crystal clear, very publicly, that this agreement does not mean India is picking a side or planning to get involved in some future war. That's a message for the entire neighborhood.
And there is a very, very good reason they're being so cautious. Just look at what is on the line for India here. We're talking about the well-being of almost 10 million Indians who live and work in the Gulf. We're talking about critical energy supplies, billions of dollars in investments, and huge projects like the new economic corridor connecting India to Europe through the Middle East. For India, a stable Gulf isn't just a preference, it's a core national interest.
So what's the game plan? How does India protect all of this? Well, it seems to be a three-part strategy. First, strategic restraint. Basically, don't get pulled into other people's fights. Second, diplomatic balance. Work hard to keep good relationships with everybody. And third, cautious engagement, which means deepening partnerships like this one with the UAE, but doing it very, very carefully.
And that brings us right back to that central challenge. This new defense pact with the UAE is a big, bold move. It shows a whole new level of trust, but it also puts India right smack in the middle of a very complicated and very volatile part of the world. So we're left with this one big question. Can India actually build these powerful new alliances without eventually getting dragged into the region's old and, frankly, deepening rivalries? I guess only time will tell.